Hey guys, I'm back and I'm here with
Paula Garces
and
Michael Walker.
and then
with
The Maid'S room.
Now let's start out with the title. How did the title come around?
The title came around because it's about a maid who gets a job in the Hamptons and she lives in a room. It's specially designed for her. I think the
Okay, let's break it down where we're going on.
I don't know. The Maid's room is a room of these big houses where people have in the back, and they sort of prefer not to think about it. I think it's kind of kept a secret.
Now, what got you interested in the project and how the project came around for you to be?
let's wait for
Yeah.
I wrote the script, so I've been working on the script for a long time, at least 10 years. So that's how I became interested in it. But it evolved over the time. It started as more of a ghost story, a traditional ghost story, where sort of told in reverse. Most ghost stories happen where you see the ghosts first, and then you sort of find out why they were being haunted. And this way, you saw them, the family, the reasons first, and then them being haunted. Slowly, it became less of a ghost story, more of a thriller, just revolved around their guilt.
What about yourself?
Well, I got involved the good old-fashioned way. I auditioned for the film. Really wanted it because I read the script and I thought it was fantastic. And then was held in suspense because it's a suspense thriller for about a month and a half. And then I got the good word that I got the part. And yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I reacted. I really wanted it because the lead was something I could definitely be proud of playing, especially as a Latina and being Colombian background. My grandmother came here in the early 60s and that was her first job. And it was my first opportunity to really kind of pay homage to the type of maid that she was, which was very elegant and was here in this country for a very good reason, which is to better yourself and to get an education and get more money, because in Colombia the situation might be a little bit harder than in the States. And that's exactly what this maid is going through, and the way he wrote her, again, was very elegant, humble, happy to just have a job, amazed by this amazing mansion here in the East Hamptons, and was very curious about the Crawfords and the family that she was working for. But again, humble and very grateful to have a job. So I love that about her. And she had very strong moral standing, and she knew what's right and what's wrong. And
yeah, there's a relationship between the father and the maid, I think, where as opposed to him and his son. The son is sort of he's not lazy, I guess. He's just a little confused and maybe not as ambitious as Drina, the maid, is. And I think in another world, the father would have probably preferred to have Drina
As a child.
That kind of personality anyway.
totally.
Now, where'd you guys shoot it?
Yeah.
In Belport, which is not too far away from the Hamptons. But it's set in the Hamptons.
From start to finish, how long did the whole process start, from day one shooting to final stages of editing?
It took a little less than a year. I mean, shooting was only 18 days. That doesn't take long at all. But it's always the part that you need the most time that you don't get. But editing didn't take that long. But after that, then Hurricane Sandy hit and there were some issues, so it just dragged on a little longer than normal. And it actually finished it.
Now, here we have the Hamptons Film Festival. What's next regarding you guys doing a festival run, VOD, iTunes, digital distribution, physical? What's going to be going on next with that?
Well, we're going to try to get into some theaters. I mean, it's going to play at some more festivals first. It's playing in Austin in 2 weeks. We'll get into some theaters somehow. And then most likely it'll be some sort of platform release, VOD. They do a thing where they put it out on VOD a couple weeks before the theater and charge a little more, and then when it gets out of the theater, they drop the price down out of it. It's good. Makes things work very
Now,
well.
if they want to keep track of the progress, theater-wise or distribution-wise, is there a website, Facebook, Twitter? What's going on
All
regarding
of
that?
it.
Okay, you guys are all over on top of it.
Facebook's probably the best page.
Facebook.
It's the one that I keep up with most.
Okay.
So Facebook, the Maid'S room on Facebook.
The Maid'S room on Facebook, so they keep track of everything going on. Now, regarding from writing and just working the project, and for you from acting, do you guys have a kind of the hardest point, and then what's the all-time high for you guys from working on this project as a whole? Do you guys can pinpoint one of those moments?
Well, for me, auditioning for the film is hard. It's as an actress, at least for me, auditioning is really hard for me. I always get really nervous, anxious. Then if I happen to do well at the audition, because I got lucky that day, then it's the anticipation. Then you finally say, they finally tell you, okay, you got it, they want you. It's like winning the lottery, and you're like, yay! And then very, very quickly, you're like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I mean, like, that's what happened to me. And a lot of the scenes were silent. I didn't really have to say a lot with my words, but I had to say a lot, convey a lot through my actions and through my expression and what I was supposed to be feeling at the time.
You know, the staging and blocking and all those elements.
So it was extremely scary. But then once you're in
we didn't even have a lot of time to do blocking.
Yeah, we didn't.
We just have to start shooting and then block her while we went along.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes I love the schedule being 18 days because I really got to dive into it and think about anything else. I didn't get distracted by anything else. All I had to do was just be Drina for those 18 days and rely on him and really, just rely on his direction, which I totally did and trusted him and thank God for it. And then after the movie was done, I just wait for, something like this, and the Hamptons Film Festival comes around, and I didn't get to see the movie beforehand, so yesterday was my first time to a sold-out audience here at the Hamptons Film Festival. But again, the fear set in, and I was horrified again. Did I do well? Is the movie good? And it's like all these things, and it was fantastic. The movie is really great. I forgot about that I was in the film even. Because even though it touches upon some heavy issues, the movie is a lot of fun. It's very fast. It goes by really fast. And it's a psychological thriller, which I always wanted to do. And it really keeps you in suspense for a long time. And the only time you breathe is when you're screaming at something.
What about for yourself?
Well, I mean, the best parts for me, shooting was the hardest part, but it was also the best part. So, watching her performance in some of the scenes really some of the best moments. But the worst moments, there was one night when we blew our power source and it exploded. And but we went around to neighbors and somebody let us tie into their house. It was a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was the middle of the night and somebody knocks on their door and says if they can illegally tie in power to their house. That's a nice little lady says yes.
Ghetto in East Hamptons. I like it.
Now, regarding, because the industry has changed so quickly, so fast, and regarding going back to 80s and 90s, we talked about how people still shot in 16mm film and they would actually cut it. Now, and here we are in 2013 and iTunes and YouTube and Netflix is out. Now, what do you hope is next, or what's your predictions from filmmaker perspective and then from acting perspective? What do you hope that's going to evolution of those two elements?
The next, after this, well, I think TV's going to. It's hard to say. I don't think the theatrical market right now, getting into theaters, is still a great place to be, and I think there's still money to be made there. The only trouble is that the studios spend so much on advertising that it's sort of an effective monopoly. You can't get films. You can't get other films that aren't studio films into the theaters. So that makes it very hard. So the only real option is VOD or Netflix, those kind of things. And there's money to be made there too. It's probably not as much as the easy to make. There's money, but everybody's asked to make films for less money. I think the saddest part is that you really need big stars.
All right, let's do it.
To see your film.
Yeah,
kind of backing up celebrity kind of backing.
It's really hard to make a film without big celebrities and get it seen by everybody.
Now, what about from you from acting?
I really love all the classics and the way films used to be made. Obviously, it's a lot more expensive, it takes more time, but a testament to the Major and Michael Walker and Scott are saying for our movie looks like it could have been shot the old way. It's got a very, very big way about the scenery. It's got long cuts really be amazed at how much the film actually costs to make, as to opposed to what it looks like it costs to make.
One of the hardest things about making the film was giving it this Hollywood feel.
And it really does look like.
But doing it for, there were things that we did with the technology. I mean, the score is a complete orchestral score, and it's all done electronically, and you can never do it with Hollywood. I mean, it sounds like because the technology is just getting to the point. It's not ever going to be quite as human as it is if the real orchestra played it, but
it's pretty close.
It's pretty great.
I didn't.
And then there's little tricks with, there's equipment. There's a great shot where we had a sort of crane shot, which we could have never afforded even 5 years ago. Now they have this big piece of lightweight graphite thing that goes over them. They do these huge crane shots with that. A lot of money.
Now, regarding from a perspective of a filmmaker and an actor, if there's one advice you can give out to people, I'm sure the list is huge, but if there's like one crucial advice regarding people who want to be actors or get into more kind of behind the scenes aspects of it, is there one of those advices that you guys carry around with you everywhere you go?
Don't shoot handheld. I hate that.
Yeah, he doesn't really like it. That's why our film looks so beautiful.
I mean, handheld has its place, but don't shoot your movie handheld.
Not the whole Cloverfield going on, running around with a camera on and fumbles around.
Mine's a very simple message. It probably sounds really corny, but it's worked for me, and I know a lot of my friends that are actors and successful. It's never give up. I mean, when I started, I was a young girl in Spanish Harlem, heavy accent of my English. I was pregnant at 17, and I was still saying that I was going to be a Hollywood actress.
We're sitting here.
And everyone thought I was crazy, and maybe I was, and maybe you need to be a little crazy to be in this business. But that comes with creativity, I guess. And so yeah, just never give up. If it's something you really love and you really enjoy, then go for it.
Now, what's next for you guys?
I'm in the early stages of trying to get a film together called The Revolution of Jenny Speck. It's about a girl who gets a job at a women's magazine. She sort of lives in a very schizophrenic world, possibly becomes schizophrenic herself. So, but is it the world or is it her?
So any dates you can comment on that for that yet?
Any dates?
Yes, like starting shooting, anything like that.
Not yet.
Not yet, like keep track of this guy going on.
That's right.
Now what about for yourself?
Well, right now I'm gonna give birth to a baby boy next month. So that's my first endeavor. I've been very lucky. I've been working my whole pregnancy. I mean, I finished the Maid'S room, but a month later a couple of months later I became pregnant. But then I started a series called Devious Maids. Yeah, the maid theme kind of followed me this year. And I did that for Lifetime. I did a couple of episodes for House 13 on Sci-Fi. Did some of all my children on the online network. So right now it's just giving birth to the baby and going to get another job. Hopefully next year.
keep chugging away in a way.
That's right.
Any final words you guys want to do about the movie, or just any final words, shout outs to a dog back at home?
Like that. Shout out to my granny, who definitely inspired Drina.
What up for yourself?
Yeah, say hi to Clara and Juno.
Yeah.
Yes.
Juno actually has a scene in the movie that she created, which is in there. She knows what she
But once again, guys, thanks for your time, and like I said, we're going to keep track of the project going on, and we'll be in touch regarding any updates and where it's going to be filmed and shown, and then we'll take it from there, guys. Once again, thank you very much for your time.